Hey everyone, and welcome back to my channel. So for today's video, I'm going to be sharing my version of a restoration hardware dupe. This is the natural agate on linen art piece. As always, go ahead and hit that like button if you like these types of videos. Leave me a comment down below and make sure you're subscribed to see more DIY videos. So my inspiration for this actually started when I saw this art piece on Restoration Hardware's website. However, it was a little bit more than I wanted to spend, so I thought I could probably make that myself. I had these frames at my house. I got these from Marshall's maybe about a year or so ago. They do have like a little gap in between the mat and the glass. So if you're gonna do this project, make sure that your frame allows for that little gap so that you have room for your stone. And what you will also need for this project is some linen. You can find this really at any craft store, Hobby Lobby, Joann's. You can even find it on Amazon, and I've linked that below. I find the better quality, the better your project will look. And this was kind of like not a white linen, it's kind of an ivory color, but it has a lot of like texture in it, so it looked really pretty. And you will also be needing your stones or agate. So I found these on Amazon. I can link these exact ones below, or you can always get on Amazon and find some exact colors that you're looking for, or even bigger shapes and bigger sizes. If you're looking for something a little bit more round or a bigger statement, they have really pretty pieces on there, and they're all different price ranges. I got these for just about $14. If you're looking for something a little bit bigger, I would recommend the coaster size stones, and those are really pretty. They come in all different colors, and those will really make a statement. So I would recommend finding your frame size first, and then going from there, finding some size stone that will fit perfect in your frame. These are really neat because they come in all different sizes and are all different price ranges. So to start, I am laying my canvas upside down, and then I'm going to trace the mat of the picture frame on the back piece of the canvas. You want to make sure that you're doing this on the back just because you want the front to stay pretty and no marks on it. I'm also tracing the inside as well. So now for cutting, I'm going to be cutting this about 1.5 inches out. So I'm not cutting exactly on the line. I'm going to go out a little ways because we're going to be wrapping it. So you want to allow that extra space to be wrapped around the mat. So once you get that first traced piece cut out, I would recommend tracing another one and going ahead and cutting that out as well. You're going to need 2 pieces. One is going to be to cover your mat, and the other is going to be the background of the stone. So in total, I have 4 canvas pieces here because I am doing 2 frames. And once you are all done with your cut, I would highly recommend ironing your canvas. It'll look so much cleaner and so much nicer. You don't want any wrinkles, and it looks so much better. My iron has the steam option on it, and I find that that works really well. And to cut out the center, I'm going to fold it in half and make a little incision right there, and then cut around the center. Now for this, we do want to leave a little space because we are going to be wrapping this around the mat too. So don't cut all the way to the line. Leave about 1/4 or 1/2 inch. And it doesn't have to be perfect. My lines are not perfect at all. And after you get the center cut out, we're going to go in on the angles and just cut a little diagonal angle right to the corner of your line. These little cuts are going to allow you to be able to wrap the canvas around the mat. And just to make sure everything fits right, I'm going to put the mat over this and kind of make sure everything looks okay and give it like a dry fit to make sure it'll wrap okay. And try to remember we are using the back side of the mat, and to keep everything on the pretty side facing downwards, if that makes sense. So if everything looks like it'll fit correctly, you're good to go. I had to cut just a tiny bit more in the corners just to make sure that it's a close wrap, but other than that, it was good to go. So now you're going to go in with a hot glue gun and attach those little flaps to the back of your mat. I try and keep the glue a little bit on the thinner side because you want it to fit all nicely in your frame. So try and stay away from those really big beads of glue and keep it on the thinner side. And then it's pretty easy. You just go and wrap your canvas around the mat, and you want it to have as tight as you can, the nicer it will look. And I can't emphasize it enough, make sure that everything is as flat as you can get it, because all of this has to be crammed into your frame with the stone. So just make sure that it's as flat as you can get it. And look how this is coming along. It looks so nice, you guys. And now you're going to be wrapping the outside. Like I said, just make sure that it's pulled really tight and that you don't have any wrinkles or lines, and try and keep it as flat as possible. And just a quick tip on gluing. So I find that it's easiest if you glue, like, see the top right there, and then go directly across and do the bottom part, and then go in and do the sides, just because it pulls it tight all the way across, and then you want to go in and do your sides. And don't worry if there is some excess canvas, because after all of that is glued, you can cut it off and it will still lay very flat. And here is the canvas wrapped mat for your frame. And just so everything fits nicely in the frame, I'm going to go ahead and cut off any excess pieces that are hanging off or will prohibit this from fitting nicely in your frame. And a little trick for the corners, I just hold it up really high and then cut right underneath it so it makes a nice clean cut. And this is what the back part of the mat should look like when you're all done. And I'm going to dry fit this into the frame just to make sure everything sits nicely and that it looks nice. And I'd say that's a success. That looks so gorgeous. And moving on to the part that will be the background for the stone, you just take your extra piece of canvas that you cut out, and using the center as kind of a guide, you're going to make that middle piece quite a bit larger, and then you're going to lay that on the back part of your frame and glue that on. It does not have to be perfect, just dry fit it, make sure that it is bigger than the hole in the center of the frame. And don't worry if it's not cut perfect, as long as you can't see it from the front of the frame. This is just the backdrop to your stone, so it should lay really nice, but don't worry about the cuts or any imperfections, as long as you can't see it from the front. Then I'm going to take my stone and place it on the canvas where I think it looks centered. You want to dry fit it onto your frame before you glue it down, just to make sure that it's centered and everything is in the right place. If everything looks right and centered, go ahead and glue little beads of glue onto your stone and make sure that it's sitting nice and flat. Then I'm going to add the backing to my frame and make sure everything fits nicely. It is a tight fit, but it fit. And here is the finished product. You guys, these are so gorgeous and so easy to make. I couldn't believe how easy this was and how pretty they turned out. I love the wood tones with the cooler stone. I just thought it was so pretty with the texture of the canvas, and this was exactly what I was looking for my living room. And you guys, it hardly cost anything. It was so inexpensive. Highly recommend this DIY. I love it so much. And all that's left to do is hang them in my living room and then admire them. So I hope you guys loved this DIY as much as I did. If you loved this video, give me a thumbs up or let me know in the comments down below. Don't forget to hit subscribe to see more videos like this, and we'll see you next time. Thanks for watching, guys.